the reality. So I would like to invite John.
So thank you, Chị Loan, again. And thanks, Opposite. All of the golden principles that you just shared on culture transformation is exactly true. And the exciting things here I want to share to the audience is that when Chị Loan shared to me and Opposite separately the topic of culture transformation, so we prepare ourselves the slides separately, right? So from Opposite would be more from outside in perspective as a consultant. For me, that would be the real case that I did, how I did and I'm doing for Schneider Electric in this long journey. And coincidentally, right, we connect and we see similar things. Maybe different names a bit on the way we call, right? But when we connect, it is exactly the same mega trends, the same building blocks, the same measure of success. And it's just like I talked to Opposite, right, some years back in order to start the journey. But that also answers why maybe till now the journey at Schneider Electric is quite successful. And of course, the journey still continues. And I'm very happy to be here to share the real case, how I did that, and together with my leadership team, and we continue the journey to doing it now for Schneider Electric. We call, yes, culture transformation. And let me start first again with the mega trends. So because we start the workshop today with why, with the context setting. So at Schneider Electric, 2 years back, we also put the mega trends, right? What happenings around us from the market and business point of view, as well as people and future of work, in order to state to the organization the questions why, the answer of why we have to put culture transformation as one of the key pillars in our people strategy. So if you recall what Opposite shared earlier, we have technology disruption. So that's why you see here of digital transformation from market and business, and Gen AI and AI from people side, right? We also heard from Opposite the word of sustainability. And sustainability is also covered here of energy transition. This is really connect to the business of Schneider, right? See, because we see opportunity in energy efficiency, energy management from our customer. And climate change, of course, this is the things that are happening around us. And we also play a key role in this sustainability journey with our customer. And then the culture, the future of work also changing. That's why you see that people focus more on well-being, right? All of the organization now focus a lot on initiative on to promote and to protect the well-being of the employees, as well as the future skill. We talk a lot of skill gap, shortage of skill, and how we can equip the workforce for the future skill. So exactly this is those mega trends that impacting and that raise to the big questions from our CEO on the screen, that how we can transform our culture to support the business growth. Okay, so coming to the next slide, I just want to make it more visible, right, of the culture transformation into different elements. And my story later on, coming slide, will be based exactly on these 7 blocks, but with very specific activities and initiatives that we have embedded at Schneider Electric. And I also try to connect with the 5 blocks of Opposite. So if earlier you heard Opposite mentioning about clear purpose, here, this is vision and mission of the company. We also heard Opposite mentioning about values, shared values that drive behaviors of the employees in the organization. Leadership direction, leadership sponsorship is the thing that we have been talking a lot, right? Because this seems to be one of the most key success factor in the culture transformation. And you see 3 blocks in the middle: employee engagement, DEI mean diversity, equity, and inclusion, workplace for the future, would be part of the culture chain of Opposite 5 building blocks. And last but not least would be building future skill for employees and for leaders, which we name here as talent uplift. So this would be the 7 elements in the culture transformation that I introduced to Schneider Electric as a key framework. And next slide will be more specific. For vision and mission, for Schneider Electric, that would be the sustainability purpose. I will also have next slide details for you. For share value, we have impact makers, values at Schneider Electric. For leadership sponsorship, we also call now all leadership here to be impact leaders in this journey. For DEI, we are very proud to have could be the trending, the top leading market of inclusive practices that I can also share you on next slides. Employee experience is very important. For the sales, for go to the market, they care on the customer experience. But for us here, we really care on employee experience that really help to retain and attract talents in the organization. Well-being, right? We need to take care of our people well-being. Otherwise, they will leave us, right, to work for a better workplace. And future-ready workforce, meaning how we can equip people, employees, leadership on the future skill to get them ready for the future. And that's exactly combination to help us to grow culture for Schneider, which we aim to be an impact company. Okay, so I will be more specifically share with you coming slide the details of how I turn the 7 elements into specific action. So let's start first with purpose. So purpose is very clear at Schneider Electric when we share to external candidates or even existing employees of our vision and mission. And for many years, I think at least three years on a row, we are ranked the most sustainable company in the world. And this is also the position we want to have at Schneider Electric. And we are global industrial technology leader in electrification, automation, and digitalization. And we also aim to be a leading ESG company. So those position and purpose, we would love to communicate very clearly to external candidates from the recruitment team when they meet the candidates and share why you should join Schneider Electric, as well as for every single employee at Schneider Electric, that they can know clearly the purpose, right? The vision and the mission of Schneider Electric. Okay, so that's about the purpose. Coming next would be the second element that Apasit also share. I think every company, we have our own culture and key values to drive behaviors, right, of our employees. And at Schneider Electric, we also very clear when we transform the culture, we revisit the core values, and then we introduce the new EVP impact start with us. So what does it mean? Because we position ourselves as a leading ESG, right? So we call out to the external candidate that please join Schneider Electric. Whatever role you play, you will be an impact maker, and will join us in the journey of sustainability, bring sustainability solution to the customer, to the community, and let's try us to be an impact maker. So that's our EVP. And the impact also stand for inclusion, mastery, purpose, action, curiosity, and teamwork, which would be the 6 core values that we drive behaviors at Schneider. And when we introduce this new set of values, as Abasis also share, we need to communicate so that employees know, I understand the change, why we are changing this. The case for change was set very clearly. So myself, the leader, the CEO, we organize the town hall and we share the context of changing so that people know that, okay, why we have this evolution from here to there. We also ensure that we have leadership sponsorship to support the change. That's why you see on the screen that we have a series of talk shows. So we assign each of the leader to be the champion of each value, and we conduct the talk show to explain to the people what does it mean by inclusion at Schneider Electric, what does it mean by mastery at Schneider Electric. So a lot of communication, talk shows, internal communications, small team, big team. So communication again and again. So that come back to the connect, right? The communication part, engaging to the team to help them understand deeply the new values. And then they can believe that, yes, I can drive for the change. So that would be the score set of values, the shared value that we launched as the beginning of the change journey. So coming next would be more details, because I share a lot on the leadership sponsorship. We call this as leaders as culture shapers, because if it doesn't start with the leaders, then of course the middle manager and the employees cannot see the role modeling, right, in order to follow. That could be the domino impact. So we request each of the leader to be the champion of these 6 values. So you can see on the screen, I start first with the top 3 values. For example, inclusion. Inclusion would be me, right? So I'm going to be the champion of inclusion. And under my picture here would be some example. But later on, I can even share you more specific activities that we have, benefit that we have. We call inclusive practices at Schneider Electric. For example, the gender diversity KPI is publicly communicated in the organization that we have to hit female hiring 50%, female at frontline managers, and female in leadership. So this KPI is communicated in the organization and becomes the core KPI of the recruitment team, of the HR team, of the leadership team who join in the hiring process to ensure that we bring more female to Schneider Electric, because we're very male dominant industry, as you all know, right? And we have female coaching program, how women rise. So many campaigns under inclusion to drive these values. Same thing for mastery. I have one VP who has been very senior with Schneider Electric, and he would be considered the mastery of everything, product knowledge, process. So he would be the champion of mastery here. And under that, we also have a lot of training on product to certify our people on the product knowledge, on the skill set, that Mr. Hưng here would be the champion. And same things for purpose, right? We have clear purpose to the candidate, to the people, as well as the customer. That's why we have the Sustainability Impact Award for our clients to join us in this journey. And we also have this VP to be the champion of purpose. Next slide would be the example of the next 3 values at Schneider Electric, with action from the CFO on how we ensure that we follow the trust charter. This is the code of ethics at Schneider Electric, as well as curiosity is also the value that we want to drive here, that you need to ask questions all the time. And we have learning festival. And this leader, Mr. Ngữ, he's also the one of the leader and one of the employees that have the most completed e-learning courses ranking in the zone as well. So he's really role modeling the curiosity behavior by showing his learning attitude day by day. And he posts a lot on his LinkedIn as well to ensure that he champion this value. And last but not least would be the teamwork. So we have Upwork feedback, and we also have the department day in the organization to ensure that everyone connect and work collaboratively in the organization. I go to the next element here would be the employee experience. And of course, when we talk about employee experience, that would be a lot, right? But I'm showing this slide, showing the digitized employee journey at Schneider. So we're really proud that we have end-to-end employment process at Schneider Electric, which is digitized, from the reboarding, attraction, recruitment, to onboarding, to managing the cycle of performance, even like the open talent market. It's just like internal LinkedIn for employees to look for new opportunity in other countries within Schneider Group, as well as reward. And below, you can see we also have the Copilot and Joe ChatGPT that everyone use on their daily life. So digitized employee journey would be one of the things that we think that employees would look forward. And that would be also one of the selling point that we talk to the people that why you should join Schneider Electric. Next element among the 7 blocks would be I think next slide, please, Chị Lan. Okay. We talk a lot on inclusion, right? DEI. So I'm sharing here the real cases of how we demonstrate DEI at Schneider Electric. So as I share, we really male dominant and seniority oriented industry. So if we don't have these inclusive practices, of course, right? If you look at Schneider, it's just all male. And then we just have the quite senior generation. We cannot attract the early career. And we want to set the tone that to the organization that the leadership team need to lead by example of being diversified. So you can see on the slide here, we have early career member in the leadership team. We also have non-traditional profile. I don't need to be a technical background with the technical background to be part of the leadership team. So I come from FMCG. So this is a non-traditional profile example to join the leadership team. And we also have a female in leadership team who is currently the marketing director. So we would love to lead by example at the leadership level, and of course to the next layer to ensure that we have early career, we have non-traditional profile, and we have more female in driving a more diversified workforce at Schneider. And the next slide would be also another example of how we drive inclusive practices at Schneider. Next slide, please, Chị Lan. Okay, so we talk a lot on flexibility at work And last week, I also joined a panel. I'm very proud to share that at Schneider Electric, how we embed the flexibility at work by having 4 flexi. Flexi time, the employees can choose the time that they start in the morning and the time they end at work, depending on their personal arrangement, as long as they have 8 hours working a week. Sometimes because of the traffic, because of the late meetings, they can arrange themselves. So we have flexi time. We have flexi place, which is the virtual work, the remote work from home policy, which is quite popular as well, right? Other companies also doing that, 2 days per week, offering to the people so that they can choose a virtual work if they could not travel to the office. The third one would be maybe quite strange to some company, which is flexi load. So at Schneider Electric, we even offer people the opportunity to arrange part-time job, sabbatical leave, and recharge break in case they have personal thing and they want to stop working for a while, but not terminating with the company. Less than 3 months would be recharge break, and more than 3 months to less than 2 years would be sabbatical leave. So this is really to support the personal arrangement of the employees. So we call flexi load. Last but not least would be the flexi benefit. So when I joined, so actually we just offer insurance for employees and dependents. And we realize that if you are single, you don't have family, then you cannot have the benefit of dependence. So we turn it into an account we call flexi benefit, where people can choose insurance, or they can go to the gym, they can buy digital tool, or they can travel. So with that, it becomes more inclusive now because we have more generations, young generation coming to the organization. So this is the floor flexi in our flexibility at work, which is part of the inclusive practices. Next slide would be the next element on well-being. So 7 years back when I joined Schneider, I remember people just have the 2 concepts of well-being, physical and mental. So later on we introduced social. And now we are very happy to have a holistic well-being at Schneider Electric with 6 pillars. Even career, we put into well-being, because if you're not flexible enough, you're well-planned your career, you also have mental issues because you worry about your future career, right? We even put financial, because personal financial planning has also become a key element and key skill that employees also look forward, and that normally impact their mental health. We also put family here to ensure that they have a work-life integration. I don't call work-life balance. This is work-life integration. And we offer 10 days family care leave to our people at Schneider Electric, which is really a wow factor. So this is the 6th pillar in the well-being wheel at Schneider Electric. We come from the only 2 pillars 7 years ago to these 6 pillars. And next would be the talent uplift, would be the last element. So we talk a lot on upskilling our people to get them ready, right, for the future. So what does it mean at Schneider Electric? So impact makers, meaning own employees, and impact leaders, this is for people manager and leadership. So you can see here a lot of skill set that we put in our learning and development agenda, but I'm highlighting here some unique skill set that we believe that this is just for Schneider Electric. The digital literacy, the digital skill, future skill that we set the target, and also the program that we build for our digital citizen at Schneider, as well as sustainability in actions. And for leadership, we also have a lot of programs, coach and care, career agility, but the thing that I'm highlighting here would be the very bold initiative, which is the reverse mentoring. Senior leader will learn from Gen Z on the new skill. Okay, so coming slide would be some examples to demonstrate those activities. This is an example of how we set target for the digital skill at Schneider, and how we build up all of the programs to build up the digital skills. So at Schneider Electric, we have digital assessment every year. And every member, we have to join the assessment with the 6 competency of digital. And then you know the score, you know the gaps, and then there would be recommended online courses and offline courses for you to fill the gap. And we have this KPI that more than 90% of our people will need to be at intermediate level of digital skill. Same thing for sustainability, because it could be the 2 future skills that we really aim to support our people to catch up with the business strategies. And next slide would be the example of how we embed the reverse mentoring at Schneider Electric. We talk a lot of shifting from fixed mindset to growth mindset. So especially for our senior leaders, how we keep them connected with the emerging trends, with the new skill, with digital skill. And then we realize that we have more and more Gen Z coming to the organization. We also face the fact that there would be a generation gap in the organization. So we introduced this reverse mentoring, where a high potential Gen Z with the age gap of normally 15 years old and above will be the mentor of our senior leaders. And you can see some topic on the screen of social media, multi-gen, LGBT, AI, that Gen Z normally better advanced rather than the old generation. So we embed this initiative for more than 2 years, and that has been very successful in keeping our leaders connected with the modern world. Okay, so yes, and that would be those things that I have been doing for Schneider. And if I need to sum up, right, what would be the 3 key success factor in the Schneider the story that I just shared? That still be, right, we need to have a clear strategy, the business purpose to link with the context of transformation. The second one that we hear a lot in the mentee as well as in Abhisit and Chitlan sharing would be leadership sponsorship. Leaders need to be the culture shaper in this journey. And last but not least, we need to upskill the workforce, right? So that they would be ready for the future. So those would be my 3 key success factors in the story of Schneider Electric. Yes.
Thank you so much, Chanka, for your case study. That's really inspiring story you share to all of us to now. And you can walk through about the classroom for the company Schneider Electric with a lot of strategy deployed with the commitment of the leadership team. So now you demonstrate about the environment where people want to join, and also you are at the role model of the leadership team to deploy about the culture transformation and create inspiring working environment for everybody. So the participant also have a chat inside. So how can apply into the Schneider Electric? You can see about the chat. So excited. And through your case study, we see that HR should be an architect of the culture. But I also would like to learn more from Chanka. What does that truly mean in an organization undergoing transformation? In terms of HR should be the architect of the culture. So Chan, could you please share more?
I'm just thinking whether that's the only role of HR or even more, right? Because actually when we say architect would be someone that design, right? I'm not sure if this is correct, but design the house, right? So as you see, right, we need to sit down with the CEO of understanding the problem statement from the very first slide that I share, and then moving to the 7 elements. So I think the architect here really means that we need to shape those key elements in the transformation journey so that we know where to start with, because culture would be quite a big term, right? If we just say to the organization, yeah, I want to transform organization from today, but without any key framework and key initiative and enablers, you cannot do it, and people cannot feel and see it. So I think the architect role here really means that you need to shape the framework of your journey, and under each of the elements, what would be the things that the activities, the campaigns, the enabler that you want to do, and then you can just introduce it. And you cannot do it alone. You need to have, right, your co-mate in the leadership team, of the handshake with the middle managers, as well as like the convincement, right, the embedding for the employees. But architect meaning, from back to my previous slide, that you need to know where you start with the very clear framework elements and the key enablers that you would be the behind person to drive those activities together with the leadership team.
Great, inspiring to answer, but to hear real case study, how organizations have navigated cultural transformation, what work and what's work challenging, and also what's make the difference. And especially based on Chang sharing, we also listen about the perspective of Chang in terms of HR role. And now let's take it a broader perspective. How we often hear that HR as an architect of the culture, but how does the role actually demonstrate in practice? So opposite, based on your experience working with various organizations in the world. So what are your opinions regarding to HR role in the cultural transformation?
Thank you so much. I get asked this a lot as well. And my simple question is HR wears many, many, many hats in transformation. And when I prepare for this talk, I also think about how do I involve the audiences in this room, who you are the HR, the real transformer of the organization. So how about this, Lauren? I would like to play some activities with the audiences in this room. Like I mentioned, HR plays many critical roles in the organizational transformation. I would like to do a quick interactive activity. This is what I'm going to do. I will show you, okay, one role at a time. And I hope that my helper here who clicks the slide won't reveal the answer yet. I want you to type in the chat box what you think it means for HR's contribution to transformation. Once I see some responses, I'll review the answer and move to the next one. And in order to make it fun, I continue building up on the word architect, okay? Architect is just one archetype, just one example of what it means. So how about we try first with the word architect? I would like everyone to type. All right, here's the first one. HR as an architect. What do you think this transformation? Type your thoughts in the chat and let's see. And I know people in this room, you can type in Vietnamese as well. So what is the role as architect? What do you think?
You can share in Vietnamese on the chat.
That's okay. Yes, just so you can help me translate.
Mọi người có thể nhắn tiếng Việt vào trong chat ạ. Khi mình nói vai trò của HR là kiến trúc sư, đúng không ạ? Thì nó có nghĩa là gì?
Providing framework, yes.
Providing framework.
What are the others? Starter? Yes. Just like in construction, right? You need a drawing in order to everything.
Yeah.
You have to have a model.
Yes.
Right. So we wait another 15 seconds. And I have in total 6 roles, which I would like for each role, it's going to be faster and faster, okay?
I didn't realize that I did play 6 roles opposite.
you play all. You see the answer already, right? Yes. Design the framework. All right. So let's see my answer. These are all great responses. As an architect, HR actually defines the values, the behaviors that serves as a blueprint for transformation. Having a clear framework ensures that transformation aligns with company's purpose and vision, just like what Schneider did. Good. So now you understand the activities instruction. Let's move on to the next one. So the next one is tour guide. So think about it. This is a bit another level. HR as tour guide. What does that mean? Drop your thoughts in the chat.
The captain.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, makes sense.
So you have the flag, right? You lead, people follow.
Okay.
Movie director. Yes, that's another career. Yes. Give guidance.
Navigate direction.
Yes. This is great answer. Good. So exactly, just like a tour guide, let's see the answer. Just like a tour guide helps travelers navigate unfamiliar places. You follow the tour guide, take you somewhere where you never been before. HR ensures employees understand the why behind the transformation and helps them move smoothly from one place to the other through changes. Okay, good. So let's move to the next one, sport coach. HR as sport coach. HR also entertain customers. Yes, as your guide, you entertain people. Keep them engaged. That's what I like. Yeah, ensure right route. That's still tour guide.
Mm.
How about
Mhm.
sport coach? You motivate. Yeah, that's what I like. You
Right.
create discipline. You drive the path. Yes, you set
Motivation,
tone. You
drive,
support. You do team building.
thinking.
Exactly.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. So what I prepare my explanation is spot on.
Mm.
As a sport coach, HR refines leadership skills, builds confidence, build motivation, and ensures leaders don't just support transformation but actively drive it.
Mm.
Okay.
Yeah. Mm.
Right. So next one, talent scout, with the binocular, but I put a word here, talent. So what do you think? Any guesses? Spy.
Guys, support, engage, motivate.
Yeah.
Mm.
Maybe, right? Maybe. Yeah. You hear, you try to observe what's going on
Mm.
while people going through culture or transformations.
Mm.
You provide vision. Yes.
Mm.
You coach, you mentor, you help them grow. Yes.
Mm.
You observe, take the right action when needed.
Yeah. Mm.
At times, your employees, your talents feel uneasy. You go in, spot
Mm.
on. Okay, so
Mm.
what I prepare here is transformation requires the right people in place, and HR plays crucial role in finding the right talent that fits the desired culture,
Mm.
while also developing the existing employees. The
Mm.
build, borrow, and buy. You build, you borrow, and you buy people, those who are fit with
Yes.
the new culture.
Mm. The
Right?
3B
Now,
strategy. Yeah.
that's right. So let me up the game a bit. This is going to be difficult. Doctor and therapist. What do you think it is? Interesting one. What do you think?
Mm.
Some of
I'm
you are
just,
smiling.
opposite, I'm just thinking if HR is sick, so who is our doctor?
That's right. That's a good question. What do you think? Yeah, sometimes we also need a doctor too. Care nurture. I really like this one.
Mm.
Well-being, mental
Okay,
health.
well-being. Yes.
Yes. Diagnose. Oh, I like this one
Yes. Yes.
a lot.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm.
You fix the problem. That's right. So let's see. My answer, my explanation is, change can be tough, and people need a safe, supportive environment. Like when you are in the hospital, you feel safe. You are in the good hands. HR ensures psychological safety, so employees stay engaged and resilient through transformation, and regular checkup to see how much progress we have made. Right. So my last one, my before I became HR consultant, I was an engineer before. 8 years in my earlier career. So I put HR as engineer. So what do you think? Yes, many people are smiling now. So HR is everything under transformation. Make sure system works right.
System
Fix
process.
bugs.
Mm.
Yeah.
System process. Automation.
Building framework.
Mm.
So people often ask me as engineer, so what the qualities you think you need to have? And I always said analytics. So HR needs to use data analytics to track
Mm.
cultural health,
Mm.
identify obstacles. So you can review now the answer. Yes. So design structures, ensure transformation is sustainable, and you use data. You analyze what's going on, and you
Mm.
know where to fix. You will help execute. Yes,
Yeah.
destroy silly things. I really like that answer in the chat box. So
Mm.
here's my activity, Lauren. So in summary, from my view, looking at all these roles together with the chat um, message, it's clear that HR isn't just administrative function; it's an engine of the transformation. Whether we are setting the blueprint, guiding employees through change, building skills, scouting talents, creating safe culture or safe environment, using data to analyze and fix things. Um, we should be proud. We are the center of it all. So the question is, how well are we playing these roles today? I encourage you all to keep asking yourself using this analogy of the careers and different professions, and ask yourself, are you performing these roles? And that's my take, Lauren.
Very good reflection from opposite. I love this slide.
Yes, thank you. Thank you all, especially Abhisit, for your sharing that valuable perspective on HR role as the architect of the culture. So till now, we have seen how culture transformation goes in action. But as we all know that it's never a smooth road. Every organization faces unique challenges along the way. So that is the reason why the next session is all about you. Leaders Roundtable, your challenge, our insight. This is your chance to get direct advice from our speaker on the culture challenge you are facing in your organization. And earlier, we invited you to submit questions via Menti, and now we already have a list of the questions inside. And I will share with you. And especially, I will read about the question and invite direct speaker to share to answer in the room chat in the room today. So the first question, I can jump into the first question, right? The first question I received and very common from the participant race. So based on the Trang case study, we see that a lot of strategy deployed and leader as the role model to lead about the strategy from define strategy to execution. But the questions the participant raise is how to get the leadership team involved or get them buy-in with the cultural transformation. They a lot of struggle the HR member here are facing. So how did you do for that successfully? So this question I would like to invite Ràng because that's subjective to the case study.
I also expect this question coming up, and that's why I think I also prepare a proper slide, and I can respond to this question and at the same time sharing that slide. So if Chị Lan can help me to show the slide of how to ensure that we can have leadership at culture shapers that I already prepared, so I can go point by point to answer this question as well.
You please let me know about the slide number you want me to show for you for this part, for this question.
So slide 38. 38, you can help me to share.
So let me a little bit.
Because actually 38. That's the things that I did to ensure that I can have my leadership on board with me in this boat.
Yes, so I will show now, so you can share to the attendant HR member easier.
Okay.
This slide, right?
Yes, you can make it slideshow mode so that I can go by.
So please wait a moment. I'm doing now. Question from my side. This slide, but how about the showing? Don't see about the function till now in my screen.
Oh, you want me to share from my end?
Yes, yes. Could you please? More easier for you and save times on suppers.
Let me see if I could.
Already. You are mute.
Just give me a moment. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Let me see if I can share it again. Sorry everyone for this technical issue. So can you both hear me and see the slide I'm showing?
Yes.
Okay. So one of the most difficult things is to have leaders to be on the journey of transformation with you and making them as culture shapers. So that's why I know in advance that, okay, everyone will be keen on knowing how. So I put together some tips, right, that I did at Schneider Electric. First and foremost, when you introduce, the culture transformation, why we have to change, the context of changing, the new behaviors and purpose, you have to sit down with the leadership team from day one, right, to get them understand of why we need to change. Because if not, right, we will be left behind, both from business and organization perspective. So change is a must. Then we all need to buy in the purpose of Schneider Electric, the shared values. And one of the practice that I did here, like I share, would be having them, the leadership team, as the thought leadership, as the SE ambassador, and putting them based on their strength and their passion to be the champion of the value. So it's not like coincidentally or by chance that I appoint like myself for inclusion, Mr. Hung for mastery, or Mr. Ngữ for curiosity, because they have been demonstrating very well that value. So that's why we are proud to have them to lead by example and role modeling. And they are very happy and very proud as well, because we're picking the strength that they are demonstrating already to be in this champion program. The second thing that I did would be, we put this as a KPI, the people goal of the leadership team who are playing the champion roles. So the first part is not just like appointment, we also put this as a common people goal for the leadership team, that on top of what you have to deliver the numbers, you manage your team, you also need to deliver this culture champion as a goal KPI among the performance management. So this is the second thing that I did. The third one that I remember one statement, one comment from one participant from we start the workshop, that we need to have both initiative and enablers. Otherwise, you cannot have game changer. So the example, very clear example that we did at Schneider would be the disruptive and bold enabler of reverse mentoring. Because if we just talk of, okay, we have gen gap, we have 4 generations in the company, right? We have even baby boomer, we have Gen Y, Gen X, and Gen Z. And if we talk that, oh, you should cooperate, you should understand each other, you cannot make it happen. But you need to have disruptive program and enabler. So that's why we need to think and discuss with the CEO in launching some disruptive program. And I would call reverse mentoring as Schneider Electric would be one clear example of how we disrupt the chain gap, right? And we bridge the chain gap by having them sitting together to learn that never before that the senior leader would think that I would learn something from the next generation. But through the program, they would see that a lot of new things that they don't know, right? So reverse mentoring would be an example. And from HR perspective, when you design the framework and the program, make sure that you need to have both enabler. You don't need to have so many, maybe just 1 or 2, but you need to have both enabler to make things happen. And last but not least, the thing that I think really work would be the name and shame practice that we have been applying here. Meaning in the monthly leadership team, we also I also align with my CEO that, okay, we embed a lot of things here. So we should brave enough to name the leaders that have been doing well. And even we can shame, but also to let them know that they need to do better in this program. So I normally have a lot of reports showing that even in recognition scheme, this team would do better than that team, so that the leader, we have a reflection. So name and shame would be also a practice that I also help the leader to see how they benchmark with their peers in terms of the way that they embed the culture at Schneider Electric. And that would be quite healthy and straightforward instead of just saying at the back. So those would be the 4 key things that I have been doing and still embedding here at Schneider to ensure that leaders will be culture shaper and they together with me in the journey of culture transformation. So I'm not sure if it answered at all to your question, and maybe in different organization you can have different setup and framework, but this really work in my company.
So much, Rang, for your sharing experience, especially you link to the case study, because that's our question also directly linked to the case study already. So I also received another questions, but I think that already covered during Trang Cup and ABC sharing. That's what are the key factors for change to become transformation? So I think the questions are already covered. So I will skip to move on to the top questions to you. The question the participant raised here is how do we ensure leaders at all levels, from executive to middle management, are actually championing culture transformation? So this question I would like to leave Abhishek for your sharing.
This is not easy question to answer. How do we make sure that leaders and executives and including employees are embracing the transformation, correct? Yes. So number one that comes to my mind, number one is we need to communicate that culture transformation is not only a part of business strategy. It is an enabler to business strategy. And how do we know that? Make sure of that? We need to show people as HR, we need to use data. We cannot just say to them with theory that yes, we need to change culture, we need to change culture, we need to transform our culture. No, you need to use data to show them that it really matters. And what data? Just like when you go to the doctor, you go to the hospital, and the doctor tell you that you need to change your behaviors, change your day-to-day routine. Doctor needs to convince you why you need to do it. And most of the time, doctor convince you with not good news, but with bad news. So my tips here for HR to make it work for everyone, show the data. What kind of data? I have 5 things as I always recommend my clients. Number 1, the low trust in leaders data. Okay, if you can have a survey in your annual engagement survey, ask this question. How much trust do they have in their leaders? If you can show them that, hey, look, leaders, executives, employees are not trusting you like in the past, that's a big wake-up call that they need to come up and do something different. Number 2, okay, so show them that there's a misalignment between strategy that you would like to drive and the people behaviors. For example, if your strategy is embracing innovation, innovative products, innovative services, for example, then translate those strategies into what behaviors that will support the strategies, do some survey with it, and show them that, hey, our employees' behaviors and our leaders' behaviors are not aligned and supporting our strategies. It's going to be hard for our strategies to succeed. Show them. They need to hear that. 3, show them that whatever initiatives you want to implement, business initiatives, it is hard. It is hard to gain buy-in. People are not agreeing with the initiatives. People are not agreeing with the directions. Show them that people are resisting. 4, show them that talents are not sticking around anymore. The key people in the organization who will help you drive the new change, the new directions, they are thinking about leaving the organization. This is a big wake-up call for the leaders. And last one, show them that our current values, which we refine or define, they are only on the posters. They exist there somewhere, wrapped around the front of the lift or on the wall in the meeting room, but people are not behaving it. Okay, hopefully you can capture all my 5 points. I'll put it in the chat box. Show them the data, and that's my recommendation. Show them these 1 of the 5, or if you can have more than 1, that's also good. Show them these bad news. It's a wake-up call for them, and you'll get some traction from them. That's my call, Lauren. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Abhishek, for your sharing a lot of experience for the question here. I think due to time constraint, so that we can extend more time to have experience that regarding to the question. However, regarding to the time limited, so I just give one more question, and this question I subject more detail into time. Yes, please. The question raised is, how could we trust leaders while leadership is lacking? Equipping leaders with the right skill is okay, but how about that behavior? How to ensure that behavior align with the company expectation? That's about the question. So, John, could you please share more tips for the participant or your experience in the case?
Tough questions, and I would be quite transparent in sharing this. So we hear a lot of people join a company because of the brand name or the reputation of the company, but people will leave the company because of the people manager not having the right leader. So as HR, I think our important role is to ensure that we have the right leaders in the right position. I know it's not easy, right? But the context of your question is because that we have the leadership team that either lacking of skill or not having the right attitude, right? Not showing the right behavior yet. And I think here would be, it really depends on the status, but we still give an opportunity to upskill our leadership team, right? From here to there in terms of even like the lack of people leadership skill, even like business skill or future skill, we can still have a series of training and upskill to help them. But from the behavior point of view, that will be quite critical because we ask them to be the champion, right? And then with all of the things that I did, that I shared earlier, of course, it takes time, right? But if after a while, even with those things that I embedded and it still not work in some specific case, so that's also an alarm that you need to ask yourself and you need to sit down with your CEO that whether you put the right leader in that position or not. Because that's life, right? We cannot ensure that all the time that we have the right leaders in the right position. But you need to be patient with them in the journey. So the 4 things that I embedded, I also allowed myself and the organization a period of time. And after the period of time that I think that, okay, we no longer have the right leaders in that specific position. So that comes to the story of refreshment. Because if you don't have the right leader, you cannot attract the right talent, and you can also not retain the good talent in the team. So that's come to maybe more specific things that in terms of like talent refreshment and people actions. But that's really the actions that I did after the while of transforming and embedding all of the initiatives. The thing is that when to build, when to refresh, and when to buy. It's also the art because we don't have a clear formula. So it really depends on the insights you have in the organization and the discussion you have with the CEO, with the team below, so that you can make the collective data and come to the decision. And that's how we need the role of the HR business partner and the HRD. But the picture is not nice all the time. So that's why behind that, what I've been doing, talent refreshment, build, buy, borrow, would be also the strategy that we have been doing from talent perspective. So I hope that I answer your questions, maybe not specifically in your case, but that the general formula that from HR perspective that we need to follow.
Thank you so much, Trang, for your sharing, and thank you everyone to bring the questions to our speaker. So till now, we already have insightful discussion. We explore about the challenge, the key success factor, and real-world case study of the cultural transformation. We all know that understanding the why and the what is just the beginning. The real impacts come from the how. And this brings us to our next part, culture playbook. HR as the catalyst from the inside to the action. Because in every cultural transformation journey, HR is not just a supporter. It is a driving force, and the catalyst turns vision into reality. So in this session, we will uncover the practical tips that HR professional like on you can apply and did meaningful, lasting culture change. So that is the purpose of the talk here. And that brings us to the critical question. How do we ensure that culture transformation is not just seen as another initiative of the organization, but it truly embedded into the business strategy? So this with question, I would like to invite opposite come from the global expertise, so you can share more to the on here, please.
Okay, so this is interesting. If you are thinking about transforming your organization, now we know already that culture is a big part of it. Leadership is another big part of it. Skills, another big part of it. So how do we put it all and make it happen? So I prepared one slide just to give you a framework of 5 key steps or 5 key phases that you need. Okay. And every single bullet point here is really important. And it's based on our experience when we work with our clients. And when you miss one of these bullet points, things will break down. Okay. So the first phase, first you need to start by defining and diagnosing. Defining means you have to have clear purpose. Get all your executives in the room. Ask about purpose. Make sure that all your top executives who are in that room speak the same language. They are all aligned. You have to answer the question why and why now. So once you get that, the second bullet point, ask yourself, so let's have a clearer picture where we want to be 2-3 years from now, 5 years from now. So ask everyone in that room to think about that picture. Get the alignment in place. Then think about what the behaviors or culture we need. Okay, have them thought through so that it's gonna be our blueprint of what it looks like. Otherwise, we will never know if we are there already or not. We need somewhere to start. So we need to start with the list of behaviors. And then you can go back and do a quick survey on where we are now against those pictures, the culture and the behaviors you expect. And early on, we touched upon how do we gain executive buy-in. And this is very important. Not all your executives will be in that workshop. You need to make sure that you also capture everyone else who are not in that same room in the first day. Okay. And one key word is involvement. Involvement equals commitment. Do not ignore them. Include them. Those who are not in that first day in the room, to think about the purpose. Involve them in several ways, just like what Schneider did. You learn from them. That's a great involvement. Okay? Buy-in equals involvement. Once you get through the first phase, the second phase, think about initiatives or pillars to drive your core culture. And this really depends on your organization. So come up with key initiatives or pillars to drive your culture. Put it on the paper so that you can communicate to executives, to employees that these are the key pillars to drive. Set goals, clear expectations, clear KPIs, just like we learned from Schneider. And the third one, come back and look at your HR internal processes, starting from recruitment, pre-boarding, onboarding, performance management, development, talent management. Ask yourself, can you integrate this new culture that you want into these processes? Think about how you communicate to people. Once you get the design and alignment phase done, then it's time to roll up your sleeve and implement it. Implementation plan needs to be communicated. Involve managers in your organization. It's not HR who drive it alone, okay? We learn to be successful, you need leaders. You need to start somewhere. Think about where you want to pilot it. You don't need to start large and enterprise-wide. Think about where you will get the quick win. You need to get the quick win in place so that you can communicate and showcase. Okay. Think about the skills that the leaders need to help you drive this transformation. Then set up training programs for leaders at different levels. Align reward recognitions. I heard from Schneider, it's a name, right? You need to recognize them, those who really show the new culture. Once you get the pilot out, then you need to sustain and scale it. You need to create metrics or key measurements and integrate it into performance management. You need to encourage open feedback, what goes well, what does not go well. Then leaders need to start to be role modeling. Role modeling from the leaders is the fourth phase. And lastly, you need to keep on tracking behavioral changes. You remember the first phase when we launched out the survey to measure where we are right now? Regularly, I would say every 6 to 12 months, you do exact same survey to track the progress. And involve employees at different level, conduct focus group, ask them what's going on, what they like, what they don't like, what their ideas are, collect those to improve your plan. And don't forget to celebrate milestones from time to time. And that's my key phases. You can use these 5 key phrases as your framework moving forward. And that's from me. Thank you, Lord.
A launch for your sharing not only about experience but also equip us about the framework so the participant can use later on in their organization. So now I think that the time limited, I would like to jump in very direct question to most of you. So the organization recognize that the urgency of shaping a strong and sustained culture. So the question I raise here, where should they begin? Very practical. So for the questions here, I would like to listen from our sis at the continuous phase you already shared before. So please.
Okay, I would say transformation is psychological. So where should we begin? Begin at the top of the house. Okay. So I go back to these 5 pillars again, starting with a clear purpose. The top of the house, the C-suite people, they have to have common understanding of the purpose because it's going to be the one to communicate it. And second thing, later you do culture change, define it, and have the clear plan. And you need to equip the leaders, how they communicate and how they should role model. So people need to trust them. Give them clear behaviors and then equip people with the right skills to display those behaviors. And that's my take.
Same question. I also would like to listen from Ràng. So could you please share to the participant, please? Hello, Ràng, can you hear me?
Can you hear me now? Yes.
Can hear
so I
you.
just want to repeat what I shared earlier. So maybe you have to move to the slide that I share. So in order to build an impact company, so the role of being architect of Schneider Electric is to set up these 7 key blocks for the company to focus on. So this is where I started when I realized that with such mega trends and with the purpose that we reset, we need to have key enablers and activities that we need to build to start the transformation. So this is where I start the journey by aligning with my CEO, with the leadership team, that this is the 7 key focuses in our pillars that we need to drive in this journey. So this is where I started earlier.
Thank you so much for both of you for your sharing. As we wrap up this discussion, I would like to leave our audience with some powerful, actionable key takeaways. So the questions here I also give both of you. In this step, you have just only 60 seconds to advise HR leader here on driving cultural transformation. So what would be your top 3 takeaway you want to share? So this I want to invite emphasis.
Okay, so I prepared one picture. When I received this question early on, I would like to give you a picture of this. Okay, imagine a seesaw on a playground. A common mistake that we HR typically have in many transformation efforts is this picture. This image represents what happens when we focus too much on HR systems, processes, things like hiring, performance management, training, succession management. without addressing the culture. It's like trying to build a sophisticated machine on a shaky foundation. Transformation keeps pushing on the left-hand side of this picture, but it doesn't gain any traction. Even though how much you try to put effort on the right-hand side, on the purple boxes, which is HR work. Why it doesn't work? Because culture, which is left alone underneath, becomes the dead weight. It resists, right? No matter how much you push, it gets stuck because the culture itself is a thing that blocks the transformation success from getting higher. So this is something we all experience. New programs are launched, systems are upgraded, but behaviors don't change. I would like to change this picture to the next slide. I would like you to think of it like this. So instead, what if we flip the dynamic? What if culture become enabler, not an obstacle? In this version, we intentionally invest in culture as part of the transformation strategy. We define and shape values, beliefs, and leadership behaviors needed to support change. We embed this into our HR practices. So embed it into the purple boxes. So hiring aligns with culture, performance measured against new expectations align with culture. Leaders are held accountable for modeling transformation and the new culture. When culture is part of the plan, not an afterthought, not just another thing, suddenly everything is working together and transformation moves forward, moves upward very, very fast. So this is my last, and I know I'm beyond 60 seconds. Thank you, Lauren.
Yes, thank you, Abhijit, so much. So the same question, I would like to listen from you, Katran, for your perspective. Thank you.
I also have one slide showing the very exciting quote on culture that I really love, as well as the picture of our leadership team we just took in the outing trip and business kickoff just last month, right? And the quote here is that exceptional cultures do not happen by accident. So meaning that if you look at the organization with winning culture, that would be the result of a long journey of collective and continuous effort of leaders, middle managers, and employees. And in order to achieve this success at the end of the journey, coming back to my 3 success factors, you need to have a clear purpose and strategy. You need to have leadership sponsorship and culture shaper along the way. And you need to ensure that you upskill people so that they can catch up with the new race together with you. So I just want to recap the 3 key success factors and the quote to remind everyone that we don't just to sit down and just having a good slogan and nice picture on the wall to expect exceptional culture. But that would be a long journey with collective and continuous effort from everyone. So that's my message.
Thank you, both of you, for the very inspiring message sent to all of us during the last minutes of the workshop today. So today, all of us have a very great discussion, and we already explore about the futures of workplace culture, and also discuss about the challenge and uncover strategy to try sustainable transformation. But all we know that insights are only powerful when put into action. If there's one thing you take away from this session, it's that about cultural transformation doesn't happen overnight. So it's not about quick fix, right? But about consistent leadership, commitment, and intentional action. So as HR professional, we have the power to shape the cultures of your organization. So now I would like to listen from you. What is one step you will take starting today to try meaningful change? So you can please share your perspective, your action in the classroom so everybody can learn each other. And after that, we can have a commitment by ourselves, not only about the beautiful strategy, but make sure that strategy put into the action with excellent execution. So I'd love to listen from your sharing, and opposites and Zhang also listen from you as a commitment for the take action after the workshop today. So please share. So thank you so much for your joining, raise the question, and participating very actively during the workshop today. So we do agree that every small step we take today will shape the cultures of our organizations tomorrow. As HR professional, we are not just enablers. We are the architects of the cultures. The responsibility is big, but the impact is even bigger. Culture transformation doesn't happen overnight, but it starts with leaders and HR taking the first step, I believe. And we will not end here. A&P Vietnam will be with you in the journey supporting all of you to develop leadership competency for your organization with great DDI leadership solution. Do not forget to take note our team contract for future discussion, and we are here to support you all. And before we close the session, let's capture this moment together. If you are comfortable, turn on your camera and take a group pictures as a reminder of all of sharing commitment to building thriving workplace culture. So turn on camera so we can take picture now. So please, and I will need help from the organizer and B team to help us have a very nice picture among the team. Speaker, Drunkard, opposite myself and whole team here. So please.